And we are live again. Here we go. It's another Friday. Today is April 15th. I do hope y'all can hear me. Let's enable some comments. Hopefully. Whoop. All right. So here we are. We made it through another week again. Hope everybody didn't have too rough of a week. It's been short for a lot of us. I know some people did have to work today. I, for one, did not, which is a rarity because normally I do. But happy Easter to you too, Jen. Great. Nice to see you. Nice to see you here. Uh, in regards to Easter, I hope you guys have your little Easter eggs. I don't know if you can read it. Maybe, maybe not. The lighting. This is a coffee crisp, Kit Kat, and a Rolo. Only gonna get the good stuff, right? Go with no plain old regular eggs. So yeah, as I was saying, the week's over. We made it through. We are in the second quarter. I do hope that you are looking back on the stuff that you've done already for the first quarter and adjusting where you need to adjust and making those moves to get, you know, summer's going to be here before you know it. And you want to be in a better place in anything that you're working on, whether it's you, whether it's your business, whether it's your current job, whatever it is. You know, clean things up, level things out, make better for you, eliminate the stress, let it go, throw it out the door. Just bundle it up, ditch it. You don't need to have any of that stuff weighing on you. You know, life's too short for any of that. Tonight's topic, what I wanted to talk about, was the great fight. So, the great fight. We're going to be like, well, what is the great fight? Well, we all fight the great fight. We fight the great fight periodically throughout our lives. Oh, and another thing is so I told you guys before I use StreamYard to do my broadcasting. So I added my YouTube on it. So I'll see how that all works out after the fact. Um, and then there's the IG running and the Facebook running. Let's kind of see. I'm working on setting up other monitoring pieces, but I didn't get it all prepared in time for this week's broadcast. But I'll definitely have it all in place next week. But yeah, back to the great fight. Lex is sleeping, so I think she's sleeping. So she should be fine today. The great fight. We all fight the great fight throughout the course of our lives. I was thinking about this a little bit more a couple nights ago, in preparation for what we're going to talk about today. And I kind of estimated down to it usually happens every decade. It can change, it can happen more frequently, but we all go through it. It's not just me. You do as well, whether you realize it or not, right? And that great fight is simply the old you versus who you are versus who it is you want to be. You go through these struggles all the time. You have to be able to let go of things that you used to do to be the person that you want to be now. As you grow, as life progresses, you start thinking differently, you start seeing things different, you interpret things differently. You want different things for yourself. Things that you wanted when you were 5 years old are different from the things you want when you're a teenager. Things you want in your 20s are different from the things you wanted when you were a teenager. By the time you get to your 30s, it's different from the stuff you wanted in your 20s. Same thing. Get to your 40s, you're relaying against your 30s, right? And that is progression. We're all about finding a successful progressive path for ourselves, right? Life's not going to be the same. If you're doing the same things at 40 that you were doing at 20, something's wrong. There's a break somewhere. Things have to evolve, things have to change. We change constantly. We change how we look, our images change. Our clothing changes, how we dress changes, how we talk changes, what our what our jobs are, right? Some of us are working, some of us are running our own business, some of us were working years ago. Now some of us are running our own businesses. That's evolution, right? And there's always that point of struggle in between doing that. A lot of that struggle comes down when you're fighting that fight. Like one of the biggest things that come up in people I've talked to with this is that fear of the change, right? It's the comfortability. You know what you like. You know what's comfortable. You know what you have control of. Trying something new, like me being here talking to you. I struggled with attempting to do this for years before I actually did it. And it was a good friend of mine, Jen, which you guys know from the earlier episodes. She sat in with me on them, constantly encouraging me. And, she suggested, why don't I do it with you? We'll get started. No problem. Did it. And when I look back on those, I see the evolution of myself. I see that struggle. Whereas now I can sit here and talk to myself clearly because, I'm a rambler. I'll just ramble on. It's okay. But uh, it was hard. It was a fight for me to be able to do that. There was that fear that, oh, how can I talk to myself? Oh, I'm just going to look dumb. And I tried so many different methods of doing it, and I always felt like, well, you know what? I kind of look dumb. I may look dumb right now to somebody, but I'm okay with it. I don't need that validation no more because I know that there's somebody out there that does not think it's dumb. And I have proof of that in people talking to me, people reaching out to me. I was in the US a couple weeks back, and so many people I ran into were talking to me about what I do on Fridays, asking me questions, saying, "Why don't you?" Asking if they could jump on, and I said, "Yeah." Their issue was, well, if I get to see it on the live time, then we can do it. So anyhow, that's a whole other conversation. But I'm just kind of going over that I went through a struggle to get to this point of who I was versus who I am now, and in practicing who I am now, I'm able to get a clearer vision of who it is I want to be. And that person I want to be. What is that person going to evolve to? What are they going to change? They're going to be dressed differently. They're going to think differently. They're going to talk differently. They're going to do things differently. Now, the things in my past, the people in my past, all of those things that, I'm not involved in as much anymore. I have not forgotten them. They're not thrown away. Those are the things that made me who I am now. But I just like you have to go through that struggle throughout the course of my own life, fighting who I was, right? And the who you are right now is the real-time person. They're the day-to-day things that you go through. And when things get difficult, what's the first thing we want to do? We want to run back to what's comfortable. We want to go back and do the things that we're comfortable with, that we know that we have the control over. But in doing that, we limit our own growth. At the end of the day, we're trying to grow, right? You have to grow throughout the course of your life. Changes are part of life. It's how you adapt to them, how you accept them, how you utilize that to your advantage moving forward, right? Of course, life's a struggle. You're going to hear that all the time. People are going to say it all the time. Oh, it's the struggle, the struggle, the struggle. The struggle is real. Yeah, hear it all the time. But it's only a struggle if you continue to choose to make it a struggle. We all have the freedom to choose to change things. You control everything. Everything is in your control. The one thing you don't control is another person. But you can control you. You can control your actions, you control your decisions. You can more importantly, you can control your reactions. I was having a conversation with somebody not too long ago and was talking about he was on the phone, an aggravated phone call with an ex of his, and it was just the aggravation, the way he was describing it to me, and that was going on and on and on and on. And I said to him, I go, "But you controlled that whole thing." And he's like, insisted he had no control. And I said, "It's just your thumb. All you had to do was end that call. You can have the call later, end the call at that moment. Why stress yourself out? You can't control what they're going to say. You can't control that they're upset, right? Whatever they're upset about, whatever they're saying, I don't know about the details of all of that. It's irrelevant. But if it's starting to aggravate you, there's nothing wrong with taking a break from the call. You can say, "We can't talk about this right now. You're upset. Let's talk later." Whether they want to or not, you still have the ability to end that call. Control your own mood, control your own thought process. You want to make those decisions that better you, right? And these are things that you learn in fighting that fight. How you reacted to, I use myself as an example. How I reacted to a partner arguing and fighting with me in my 20s is very different from how I react to things now. Now it'll be like, all right, cool. Do what makes you happy. Enjoy yourself. Knock yourself out. I'll be right here when you want to call me back. It's not that big of a deal. Stress is a killer. Stress can stress can affect you in so many ways. And if there's certain ways to control and manage that, you should learn those things, especially for yourself, for your own mental health, for your own physical health, for your whole, your overall well-being. You have the control. Don't anybody tell you that you don't have control of it. You have control over everything. Everything that you do, you have control of. You have control of anything you eat. You chose to put that in your mouth. You have control of, you know, smoking, drinking, whatever the bad habits are. These are all choices that you've consciously made to do. When you're younger, you can get away with the, oh, I didn't know. Or, my friends were doing it. Okay, great, no problem. You're in that learning phase of your life. But as you get older, you kind of got to be able to start seeing things through, right? If I do this, what are the possible outcomes? Maybe there's one, maybe there's 10. How quickly can you see what they all are? Not everybody can think that quickly on their feet, really live and in the moment. But some of you can. And with that ability, you still make stupid choices. And then you're going to turn around after the fact and be like, oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, it's always me. It's always this. It's not, it's just a choice. You're not always going to make the right choice. There's nothing wrong with that. The trick is to learn from the choices that you made and don't repeat the action over and over again. I'm sure you've heard it many times. You want a different outcome, make a different choice. It's pretty simple, right? You want to have a healthier lifestyle, you kind of got to cut out the McDonald's, maybe start going to the salads, go to Subway. Start looking at what it is that you're eating. Good changes, make good changes. And the one piece of advice I can give you is do not make one giant, massive change without properly thinking it. You can, but if you don't think it through and you don't see it through and you don't know what the outcomes are going to be before making that choice, it's hard. It's hard to manage. It's hard to maintain that path. It's like when people go on a diet, which is, that's number one for January 1. All right, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to get this. I'm going to start the gym. I'm going to do all these things. No problem. Week 1, I stopped eating chocolates. I stopped eating cake. I stopped, eating the fast foods. I'm making these healthy meals, investing, all this time to meal prep. Do all of that stuff. We're just around health. Just around health. By the second week of January, it's done. You've restricted too much of your life. You've changed too much of your life, and you've only given it 2 weeks to see a difference. You're not going to see any difference in 2 weeks. It took you 10 years, 20 years to get to that point. Somehow you think, all right, so, okay, hey, I ate a salad today. Look at me. I'm lean. It's not how it works. Oh, I went to the gym today. Oh, I'm all sore. Oh, yeah, I look like Arnold. Oh, it's not how it works. Discipline, repetition. You got to do it over and over and over and over again. Doesn't matter what it is. You got to do the repetition. It has to happen. You got to be consistent with it. Consistency is the key. Discipline to do it. What is the discipline to do it? When I don't feel like doing it, I do it anyway because I see the bigger picture. I have that broader view of it. I know what I'm trying to do. I understand where I'm trying to get to. I know what it looks like. I can look at myself right now and be like, this isn't what I want. I'm on the path to do it. Now, if you need to pause and take a break, just know you're standing in the same place. How long you stand there is entirely up to you. Told you this before. One foot in front of the other and repeat. That's it. That's it. It is super simplistic. I constantly say, don't overcomplicate things. Things are not complicated. We as people complicate things. We make it complicated. Why? Because we think it's nothing is easy. Nothing can be easy for me. Everything is a struggle. Everything is hard. Everything is difficult. That person that looks at things that way is fighting with the person who you are now. That in your mind, there's that possibility. Maybe there's an easier way. But the comfortability of the old person is like, nah, everything is a struggle. We have to do it the hard way or we don't get it. No, no, that's a choice. More importantly, now, you have so many resources to help you. There's so many people that you can talk to, so many people offering insight. So much of it is free. There's a lot of paid stuff, there's a lot of free information. You just got to learn how to filter that information. Know what's valid, know what's not, know what you should try, know what you shouldn't try. Well, it only works for that person. It's not going to work for me. Maybe it won't. But look at what their process was. Take that process, map it into your own life, into your own lifestyle, into your own practices. Can that process work with you? Will it give you the desired outcome that you want? And that's all back to the same thing. The same thing. Every episode, we always talk about the same thing: the plan, the plan, the plan, the plan. Everything has a plan. There's a plan for everything. Create the plan. Break the plan down into the tasks. Make sure the tasks are in progressive order. Do them one at a time. Keep it simple. Keep it straight. Every time you complete the task, it's progressive. And what I mean by progressive is you're going to see a benefit from that. And that's what you want. Those are the things that are going to keep you on track. Everything has a plan. There's a plan for everything. There's the finance plan over here. There's the health plan over here, right? There's the relationship plan down here. There's the lifestyle plan over here. All of those things, all in one big circle, is your life. You're in control of your life. You're in control of who's in that circle. The same way you let somebody in, you can put them out. You control all of that, all of those events. You just have to be accountable for doing it. No one's going to do it for you. It'd be nice. Somebody to do it for you. But in a lot of cases, you got to figure out how to do it on your own. That doesn't mean there's not people out here who's willing to help you, but you still got to do it on your own. You got to get in contact with those people, and they'll give you the help. Sometimes it just starts with a simple conversation. I gladly accept conversation from people. I like when people reach out to me and ask me something. I like having that conversation. I'm past having text conversations with people. I think it's not practical. There's a lot of room for misinterpretation. Now, text or message based conversations is great for little update types of things. But to have an actual conversation, you should I mean the best way is face to face. But with all the technology we have now, you can do it virtually. You can even do it on a phone call. You can be on the phone while you're driving, hands free. Put it on, have a conversation with somebody. Conversation is great. You'll learn so much from conversation. So much about the situation, so much about a person. It's a great thing. If you don't practice conversation, hey, give it a shot. Try it out. Years ago, long time ago, because I'm old, long time ago, before there was internet and messaging and instant messaging and our phones and these smartphones and all the technology we had, it was a phone call. And if you were calling somebody that didn't have two-way, you're getting a busy signal. And you got to keep calling until you get through with them so you can have that conversation. There wasn't 20 different ways to reach them like there is now, right? Now you can send me a message on WhatsApp. You can send me a Facebook message. You can send me a Instagram message. You can put a post and tag me on it on here. You can do that on TikTok. You can do all of the different platforms. You can I'm so easy to reach. None of those things are as valuable as like actual conversation, as actually sitting in front of me. I welcome the conversation. What I think I should start doing is start getting people to come and sit here and have the conversations with them. But, people sometimes don't want to disclose too much personal stuff about themselves, which is completely understandable. But again, I would help you map that out. And the reason I would do that is because that conversation live with the other person will show you what their expressions are, what their reactions are to the questions they're going to be asked, right? It's that ability to think on your feet. And again, somebody else's circumstances can relate to one of you. It doesn't have to be identical. It's only the relatability. At the end of the day, what are we trying to do? We're trying to help everybody out. Why you want to help everybody out? Because I want a better world. I want everybody to be living well. Nobody needs to struggle. Things can change. We can have a better place. We can have a better environment. It costs you nothing to be a good person to people. Absolutely nothing. A little bit of your time to talk to somebody, a little bit of time to respond to some messages. No big deal, right? Somebody sitting here with me having the conversation, what are they going to get out of it? We're going to eat. We all know that I eat. We're probably going to have some drinks. Out of all of that, we're going to have excellent conversation, right? Judgment free conversation, non judgmental. You're going to conversate with people, don't judge them on something. Start off by listening to what they have to say. You want to be able to listen. Listen to what they're saying. Give your response. Don't be judgmental in your response. Speak to them as if they're a person. Whether your position or your situation is better makes no difference. Do you know what it took for that person to come and talk to you? That's it. Simple, respectful conversation. Now, that doesn't mean that there's going to be no hard questions, 'cause a lot of times there's going to be hard questions. And a lot of people come and talk to me because I have no problem asking those hard questions. And when you start squirming and you're looking for a way out, I don't stop. We're going to keep going at it to get the question answered. Because sometimes that's what you need. It's easy to lie to yourself. You can lie to yourself. It doesn't affect anybody but you. It's just like procrastination. That's a choice. You want to put it off for tomorrow, put it off for tomorrow, put it off for tomorrow. You'll come up with 2 million excuses of why you can't do it right now. Cool. It doesn't impact anybody else but you. If somebody was dependent on you doing that, eventually they'll be like, well, clearly you're not going to do it because you keep procrastinating. They just go somewhere else. Again, like I said, it's not that difficult. It is not that complicated. We don't have to make things this complicated, right? Roll with it. Roll with everything. Here's an exercise for you to do this week, right? Spend a little bit of time this weekend and just think about it. Pull out one of those notebooks I keep telling you to get. Have a notebook, write things down. Write down the things that are bothering you. Write down the things that bothered you this week that are unresolved. Now, they could be from, weeks ago, months ago, years ago, whatever. Write down those unresolved things. Beside each one, write what you need to do to leave it in this week. And then throughout the course of next week, try to live that week leaving those things behind. Just to see what it feels like. And then reevaluate that at the end of the week. Do you feel lighter? Are you happier? Is your mind more at ease? Are you sleeping better? Are you eating better? Or have your habits changed for the better? It's all about bettering yourself. Nothing else. Things in the past that happened, they happened. Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen in the future. They just haven't happened yet. They're going to happen. You're going to have to learn to deal with it. You're going to have to learn to accept it. And if you choose to stand there and wallow in it, that's your choice, and you're able to do that. But how long you stand there is up to you. Eventually, you're going to have to move forward. If you stay in the same place your whole life, the view is never going to change. And there is an entire world out there to see. Let's all go see it together. Have the laughs, have the good time, experience it. And when you're there, be present in it, immerse yourself in it. And these are all the future things that I tell you, the things that I want, the things that I want us to do. Let's all travel together. Let's all go, you know, stand on the Great Wall. Why? Why not? We can have that picture of us all standing on the Great Wall as a great memory shot. Hey, remember years ago, I met up with Dez and we went on this tour and we were hanging out in China. We all went up on the Great Wall and here's that group photo that we took. It was such a great time. It was such a memorable moment. Isn't that what you want through the course of your life? You want to have those moments throughout time, the ones that live in your head forever, not just the bad ones. You have to make the good ones too. Simple choice, simple decision. Life does not have to be a struggle. I keep telling you guys that the same thing. It doesn't have to be a struggle. And this is not just about finance. Life is more worth a lot more than just finance. Finance is only one piece of it. In the society that we live in, you have to get your finance part in order to experience more life. That is in the society here. Now, there's other parts of the world where it might not be as important, but it is still important. It's the way of the world. And this is a constant argument that I have with my dad in my methods for looking at the finance side of things. It's different from his. He came from a different place. He came from a different time. And as the world has evolved, and that biggest piece of evolution is the tech. It's the technology. I can sit here right now. I can see the entire world on a screen in front of me. I can go down to street level and look at things. I can see it all. I can read 1,000 people talk about something that I want to do before I even go do it. Access to information. It's here. So much. You got to be able to filter it out. Figure out what it is you want to do with that information. What if that information is valuable to you? What if that information is valuable to me? What am I going to do with it? Am I just sitting here looking up information all the time, gathering all this information, and now my head is full of all this information? I don't do anything with it? What's the point in that? Oh, I'm super knowledgeable. I'm full of all this information. Okay. Now what? Gather the information to create your plan of execution and start executing. Make the changes. Make things happen. Discipline. Big thing. Discipline. Consistency. The initial topic we were talking about and everything that we talked about relates to that fight. When you're a teenager, you don't care about discipline. The only discipline you have is I need to get up and go to school. That's it. I may have a part-time job, but the consistent factor in your day-to-day life was you to go to school. As your 20s came around, we added more consistent things into our life. Well, every Friday I had to go to the barber. Every Friday night I had to be at the club. Every Sunday I had to go to the movies. Whatever it was, right? Where I'm at now, those are very different things, right? Those things back then, they don't really matter now. If they happen, they happen. If they don't, they don't. And in most cases, they don't. I'm not big on running backwards and going back into that thing for the sake of comfortability. And don't get me wrong, I'm just like everybody else. I'll have those thoughts. I'll think about going back and living my life that way because it's comfortable. I know how it all works. I know how it works really well, but is that what I want? And is that the example that I'm trying to set? And that answer is no. Everything that we do in this day and age, you don't know who's looking at you. You don't necessarily realize who you're showing an example to. In some cases, that's your kids, your kids, nieces, nephews, friends' kids, right? Neighbors. You have to be accountable for the things you do. Or oh, we're a little bit over the time. That's all right. You know how my rambling goes on. It's okay. But in a nutshell, that's what it is. That fight. You have to fight that fight. When you fight that fight, fight to win. Fight to change. Fight to be the person that you want to be. You need backup? Get backup. Fight the fight. Who is your backup? People that are already living the life you want to live. It's a direction for you. You have to evolve. You have to change. It's the only way you're going to get a different outcome. Plan, plan, plan. Map things out. I'm always going to tell you, map things out. You want to help mapping something else? Shoot me a message. Let's sit down. Let's map it out. It's relatively easy. It's relatively quick. In a lot of cases, you just don't. You're spending so much time focused on one little piece. You're not seeing the bigger picture. You want to be able to look at that picture, map it out very quickly. Simple strategy, simple concept. Keep it simple. Consistent moves, progressive moves. Make that life that you want and do it for you. Not for anybody else. Do it for you. It's not for your partner or your children. You need to do it for you. They'll benefit from you making those changes for yourself. You just got to make the decision to do it and make that decision every day. Just keep doing it. It's a choice, nothing more than a choice. With that, I hope you get a chance to do that little exercise I mentioned before. I'm going to look at the stat stuff, see how things were working, and hopefully by next week, I'll be able to show you a little bit more of the background stuff that goes on around here. Kind of in, I say I can't even swing this camera to show you all of the construction stuff here. The setup, we're doing some building to make it a bit better, bit easier to work with. But hey, that's all part of the struggle. It's part of the plan, right? How I started doing this to the amount of tech stuff that I have now to the vision of how it needs to be now, how I want it to be in the future, what I need to build, how I need to modify things to make it all work. It's all coming together slowly because I'm learning as I go. I don't know it all, but I'll figure it out and I will definitely work on getting people to start joining in on here and having some more live um sessions. But I'm thinking I might leave that for another day of the week and keep this one just to me ranting and raving about stuff. I do hope that you enjoyed this. Um, Shoot me a comment if you were able to watch it live or if you watch the replay. And I will see you guys next week. You know, tough it out, get through it. You can. I know you can do it. I'll see you next week. And if any weird comments come in throughout the course of the week, I'll be sure to bring them up next week. And I will talk to you guys then. Enjoy your Easter weekend for those of you who celebrate. For those of you who don't, enjoy everybody else's Easter weekend. We all live together in the same planet. Ciao.